All right, you're welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Madupe. You're welcome to another episode of the Wealth Preach podcast. Today is actually a very unique day because it's the sixth day of the month of June, 2026. This is amazing. And so we definitely bring you a lot of greetings. I don't get to do this alone. I have also with me my co-host here, Adebola and Ademola. How are you doing, lady and gentlemen?
We're doing great.
Awesome.
Thank you, Modupe.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Modupe. I'm doing awesome. And Adebola, how you doing as well?
I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome.
It's good to be
Wonderful.
back.
You
Yes.
guys are both looking just sharp like a steak knife. Let's get to this. Let's get to this and bring value to our community like we've always done. And so, again, I'm going to be hosting, and then I have my co hosts who are going to be doing a lot of justice to the topic we have at hand today. While we know that this podcast is hinged on us helping immigrant families, help them bridging the gap between just not earning income, but also building a wealth that would outlive them, a wealth that we could literally hold on to and call it legacy, right? And so many of the immigrants we know come from far and wide, either to any of the developed countries like the US, Canada, UK, or what have you, for one singular goal, if you ask me most of the time. Many people are either here to work very hard. And when I hear that, I'm like, how hard are you working? Should you be working hard or should you work smart? Many are here to get a good education. Others are building a career. Others are trying to start a family. Others to purchase a home, raise successful children, a whole lot of things. But many of us, right, these are the things we call our dream. But today, we're going to be asking a very difficult question in the sense that if you continue to do this working hard, right, escapade, do you think it will be enough to guarantee you the retirement you deserve? Do you think it will be enough to guarantee you a retirement success? Because there are a lot of people out there earning whatever big figure we want to call out who are quietly worried on the inside of them and saying, hey, I don't know if I'll be able to retire conveniently. I don't know if I'm set for retirement. I've had many people the questions and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm still very agile. I'm going to keep working." I'm like, "Keep working till when?" There are a lot of business owners as well who are generating good, sound income today, but they don't have a clear retirement strategy path. And there are families with even substantial retirement account. They can tell you for a fact, yes, I have my retirement account in place, but there are no tax plans. Many of them have no estate plans and no income strategy. Why are we having this conversation today? We started a conversation last week on retirement, and we hope that our listeners have been able to, understand one or two things, right, when it comes to retirement here in the US, which is why we're taking a step looking into the immigrant retirement trap and why working hard may not be enough, may not be, the way to really say, well, I'm done, I'm working so hard, I will be done retiring very, very successfully. So I'm going to have my wonderful co-host, do justice to these questions. And I probably will start with Debola. Many immigrants believe that if they work hard, they save diligently, and they keep contributing to all the retirement accounts they could mention, everything will just automatically work out well. Why do you think this belief is so common within our immigrant communities?
All right, let's get this wheel rolling. Thank you, Modupe. And I'm just going to go straight to this so that we don't waste time, as this is just a continuation of the conversation we started last week. You know, why do people have this belief that hard work is all it takes and working diligently is all it takes? Uh, I mean, from experience looking around us, it's time to change that belief because it's not all it takes. We don't see it. I personally have seen people that have worked diligently over the years, and even after retiring, they have to go back again to find something, to get another job, just because they can't afford not to earn something. Whatever it is
Mm,
that they retire to, it's not doing the trick. And another thing is the fact that for us immigrants, I think it's the way we are built, the culture, our upbringing. Many of us have seen the same thing happen to we've seen our parents, survive difficult circumstances, and what they taught us is hard work. You go to school, you come out, you go to college, and then you get a job, and then you just start working. And after some years,
very
you
hard.
stop working, you retire. But the system back home is different from here.
Mm,
You can do that from where we come from, and by the time you're ready to retire, you probably have a house that is yours, not paying
mm,
mortgage. You have your car, you have your children in college or they're working, everything is fine. You have some landed property somewhere and all that. So if when we come here and we come with the same belief, it's dangerous if we don't check what the system looks like here. That mindset that many of us have, it's something that we have to drop and see how things are being done here. So the challenge is that retirement planning is completely a different game. It's not something that you earn through the efforts alone. It's something that you have to build by planning. You have to put planning into place. You can't just depend on your job. Regardless of how many hours you work a week, how many jobs you have, that does
mm.
not equate to a planned retirement or a ready retirement when the time comes. So I know Demola will agree with me.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, what you're saying, a lot of people come from that mentality of, the survivor mentality, whereby you're so focused
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
taking care of so many things. You have people back home that you have to take care of. You have to raise the children. Some people are even going back to school while doing all these things. So at times it's probably not the easiest. And one of the things that we forget, like you said, there's a lot of things that stems from a cultural, standpoint. What you've been doing from where you're coming from, and those things cannot work. It's very important. And one of the things that I've seen that, and especially in our community, is financial literacy. A lot of people don't understand that you cannot just work hard enough. There are other things that you have to do. You have to leverage the system. What is out there that you can take advantage of. So unfortunately, retirement doesn't just automatically just happen just because you can work very, very hard. It comes with a lot of intentionality.
Mm.
you know Working hard creates income, planning creates security. And that's one of the things
Sure.
that you we all alluded to that earlier. You have to be more intentional about your retirement. It's not just default. The question is, are you designing your retirement? Because if you look at the default, that financial instruments that we've talked about in the past, that's just the default system. But we've seen that a lot of people cannot even retire with the default system in place. So the
Mm-mm.
question is, do you have systems in place that will help you design your own retirement? And who's designing one for you? I'll rest my case right there.
Wonderful. I like that. Who is designing one for you? You just said that. Who is actually designing one for you, or you're just
Yeah.
running with the status quo, running with the traditional, the so-called, system that you have in place. You're just like, let me just plug myself in by default. This is what I'm doing. It's such an important distinction that both of you mentioned, and you were very, very emphatic on it, that many of the immigrants have mastered the act of earning, because it's either what we brought back from where we came from, and we're like, let's just continue the status quo. But many have failed to master the art of converting this income into lasting wealth.
Mm.
There's so many things that goes in between what you earn and what you end up keeping. So that takes us to the next question. let's talk about what I call the income illusion. Why do we have a lot of, highly revered professionals, from doctors, engineers, nurses, IT professionals, even business owners, that are earning a whole lot, right? According to the American standard, they are way above the poverty level, who still feel financially trapped, or for lack of better word, they feel financially vulnerable. Over to you, Debola.
Okay, Dima, you want to go on this?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I know the most.
I definitely have something
Okay.
really interesting for this because, I learned something, and it says it's a easy formula, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called the wealth equation. And that wealth equation just simply says income minus lifestyle equals savings.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of whatever you make, would you agree with me that even when you earn an income, doctors, engineers, all those professionals, even though they do earn a high income, is it true that they have a high lifestyle as well?
Absolutely. They're always
Very
marking
true.
it up. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So by the time you take your income minus that high lifestyle, guess what? At the end of the day, your income just becomes poquito, like they say in
Mm-hmm.
Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of what you make, it's about how much you get to keep.
Mm-hmm.
What you make is important, but what you keep is actually more important, and how you actually put that thing to work. So this becomes an illusion when somebody says somebody's making six figures. Oh yeah, you have that big house, you have that, nice car. But guess what? Because your income is high, your lifestyle is also high. So there's this illusion that because you're having a high income, you should be in a better position. But guess what? If you're also having a high lifestyle, then you're as well as the other person who's not having that high income. So yeah, that's one of the things I definitely love to chime in that.
Cool. Yeah.
That's true.
Debola, are you going to add on to
I
that?
mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
another thing is the fact that we're talking about immigrants. And so we cannot forget the fact that immigrants here are not just living the American life, they are also financially supporting families back home,
Mm-hmm.
not just their own families alone, even some helping other people. They are paying here in America and they are also paying back home, helping siblings and relatives abroad. And that kind of thing sort of creates pressure for them. They're not even thinking about the fact that they want to put money somewhere for the
Mm-hmm.
future and all
Yeah.
that. It's just that survivor. Let's just get it done. The
Yeah.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure the children goes to college when the time comes. Without even planning for that.
Sure.
When this time comes, we take care of that. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a lot of pressure, that comes, from both within and outside. And in many cases, the result is high income earners have very little margin for error. One job less, one job loss, one health issue, one major emergency, and suddenly everything changes.
Yeah.
The money that you think, oh, you're making that is a lot becomes nothing by the time you need to spend that to take care of those problems. Or maybe you lose that job and then there's no source of income. Even the things that the survivor, what they call it, stops because there's no income coming in, or something
Mm-hmm.
happens to your health and you're not able to work.
Mm-hmm.
Things like this could actually affect a lot. So the earlier you start to plan, the better. I mean, what they call it, high income doesn't equate wealth or retirement
Never.
plan.
No, at all.
Never. And you probably would, thank you so much, Debola and Demola. And you probably will see that we're stressing this over and over again. We had this conversation last week, and it's something we're talking about. We are of the opinion that when there is enough conversation around this subject matter, people will start taking some of these things very critical. We respect the fact that many of our immigrant family community are still very so connected back home, right? Giving back, right? you know Being charitable in nature, right, for lack of better word. But we're also saying, hey, you know what? You also want to make sure that you're looking inward and taking care of that which is yours. Getting all of this income might create opportunities for you, but you need that strategy that will create wealth. The strategy that will help you and ensure that whatever it is you think you're keeping, you're able to still hold on to a good proportion of it when the time comes. And that takes me to our next question. Many immigrants are currently, right now, a good proportion. They are aware. They're maybe a little bit savvy. They might not understand what it is, but a good proportion of them are contributing to all of these beautiful qualified retirement accounts that you have there on the street. Okay. And some of them are even participating in workplace retirement plans or even other saving vehicles. But what is the biggest misconception, Demola, that people have about retirement accounts?
Hmm.
Let's let
Wow.
out the elephant, right, out of
Yeah.
the room. Let's talk about that.
Awesome. Awesome. And when you let's first define what we mean by qualified retirement accounts. These are accounts that are yet to be taxed. So these are accounts that the government is saying, you know what, put money into this portfolio right now. We're not
Hmm.
going to tax it. Enjoy the tax advantage while taxes are still low. And down the line, when you're ready to retire, then we're going to tax you on whatever we decide we want. So we're going to mess up. We're going to go into all these wars. We're going to cause chaos. And when we need money, we'll come
You know
after
where to
you.
go. You know where to go.
We'll come
We know
after.
where you live.
And it's so important. Like, we always say things like, it's highly important that anywhere you find yourself, and I know we're talking about people most likely in the US, but anywhere you find yourself around the globe, it's so
Hmm.
important for you to understand, how does that system, the financial system
Work.
of that place, how does it work, so that you can leverage and let that thing work for you instead of
Mm.
working against you. So now, one of the misconceptions a lot of people have, they put in so much money into some of all these deferred, tax deferred plans, and they forget that this money that I'm putting in, this money is going to be taxed later. That's number one. Number two, in some of those portfolios, the question is, are they outpacing inflation? Healthcare cost is rising. There's market volatility. You could be losing money, gaining money, losing money, gaining money. And once you're safe, could you imagine working for 30 years? And in your mind, you think in 30 years, man, if I've contributed X, this is the outcome. Unfortunately, most of all these tax deferred portfolios, there is no way you could determine what the outcome of tomorrow would look like. So your input does not definitely reflect what your output would look like. So this is something that we need to pay close attention. We keep talking about intentionality. Anywhere you put in your money is, you should be asking yourself, how is it growing? How is it working for me? Am I on my goal? Am I on track?
Mm.
Am I on pace to retire by design and not by default? So it's high time that we all open our eyes, for those of our viewers out there. And if you want to get a little bit more in depth of what we're talking about, and we're not saying all these tax deferred plans are bad. No, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that there's a misconception that launching in all these kind of plans, at the end of the day, you might have something whereby you can retire, right on your own terms.
Mm.
That's something you might want to double check and see if that plan you're in is actually working for you.
Excellent. Yep. Because, and I saw that you went, towards a particular path, and I think I want us to stay on that path because a lot of people are so oblivion of that fact. There are a lot of risk that surrounds retirement, especially people working so hard. And I've seen it play around back in 2008 during the COVID 2020. We see it play around, okay? And because we're not living in isolation, let's talk a little bit before we wrap things up today. and identify what are those retirement risks that almost nobody talks about. You kind of, you started, you peeled a little bit of the onion, but let's go in depth into this. I don't know if Debola is going to, be able to help us with that. Please explain what are those risks that people are probably not aware that exists
All right,
in your
retirement
experience.
rates. That's let's see. Um, I would say one is the fact that people nowadays tend to live longer than before. You know,
I agree.
that's talking about longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see a 65-year-old today, they may easily live into their 90s. The other day, I saw a group of people celebrating a 100 and something year old lady that was still agile
Birthday.
and all that,
It's
And even though that's good, uh, uh, it's a good thing to live long, but
mm,
financially, it creates a major challenge.
mm,
It creates a major challenge because your money may need to last 25 to 30 years. That's a longer time. And to be sincere, from experience, I mean, some of the things that we've seen, I've not seen that retirement plan or contribution that actually will provide for that long. Like, okay, you'll be able to comfortably live for,
mm-hmm,
for 30 years or more.
mm-hmm,
And that's a risk. That's one of the
mm,
problems. People living longer than the way it was before.
mm,
So what is the solution to that? We're still saying the same thing. The main problem for immigrants now is the fact that we don't start early.
mm,
We don't start early. And it's just because we didn't have that knowledge. It's not something that I would say that's we were used to. It was planning for retirement is not the way it is here. But now that you're here, if you're hearing us or hearing this for the first time, or if you're just getting in, or you've been here and you still don't have something in place, this is a time to get started. Now that you know about it, don't waste time. Do not waste time. You have to have a plan in place because what the future holds now in this system, nobody really knows. It's uncertain.
mm.
And you don't want to get to that time and really I have examples of people that need help now at that point in their life,
Yep.
and there's nothing that's there for them to fall back on.
Yep.
So we want the same thing to happen to you.
Mm. Thank you so much,
This is the
Debola.
time to seek
Mm-hmm.
experts and find out what's best for you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Just to
Thank-
chime in,
Okay.
and this the statistics is out there that the major concern of most retirees is that
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna outlive their money, their savings, because like we know, thanks to science and technology now, healthcare has improved, so a lot of people tend to live longer,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's so important. A lot of people, there's this 40 40 40 rule that we talk about. People work 40 hours a week, for 40 years to live on only 40% of what they've worked for. And this also stems back, to the kind of retirement vehicles that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're on retirement vehicles that would not sustain you, that will not help you have that kind of income during retirement, then there's going to obviously be a problem. And the earlier people start saving, and this all goes back. This thing is so layered. The earlier you start saving, the more you could probably have. And it's not just saving, but saving in the right buckets. So it's so layered that the conversation can go on and on and on. But one of the things that we want to leave with all our viewers today is, regardless of where you are right now, whether you're 50, whether you're 60, the main thing is asking yourself, what other things can I leverage out there?
Mhm.
Because right now, you know what your income, your income level is at. So if you're already 50, you know what you have right now. Before you know, if you plan to retire at 65, you know you only have 15 years. So the question is, in those 15 years, what do I need to do? Do I need to get a second job, or do I need to get a side gig? Do I need to do something passive? We need to be intentional about these things and start thinking about these things, so that, you know what, um we can survive during retirement, and we don't become a burden to others. And that's actually another key thing that we don't even talk about, being a burden to everyone because you actually did not plan, your retirement properly. So I'll leave that.
Thank you so much. You've touched quite a few on even the parting words. I probably will have you, share with the viewers, share with those listening to us. And I think we're at a very great spot here to wrap things up. Something stood out for me from what both of you had said over and over again. And what is it? You might have this retirement account that we talked about. You might have even two, three, four. Some people love to say, yeah, I have this, I have this. Oh, yes, I'm diversifying. Excellent, beautiful. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You having a retirement account is not a retirement strategy, period. The fact that you have all of this, humongous retirement account does not necessarily mean you have a retirement strategy. So it is high time we start, trying to flip the script. They talked about intentionality. They talked about, being aware of the system and where you are right now and how it works. Some things will occur. Longevity risk is actually staring at everybody in the face. It's a good thing. Volatility is out there. Are you taking that into consideration? Taxation is also there. What's going to be your tax burden at the end of the day? Of what value it is that you've saved $1 million in your retirement account, all combined, and all that comes to you is just what, 40% out of that $1 million. Seriously? I don't think that's what you want to do. It's been amazing, Debola and Demola, and I really sincerely do appreciate your time today to our viewers. It's been a powerful conversation. Working hard is important. We honor working hard. We're not saying be lazy, but we're saying while you're doing this, know that this is not your retirement strategy.
Yeah.
Get something in place. Many immigrants have spent decades just building careers, building businesses, supporting families, making sacrifices, but it's high time we now take a switch and ensure that whatever it is we're putting together, it's a strategy that would work for you. The strategy that will work for Debola might probably not work for me. So it's a
Absolutely not.
customized plan. It's never a one size fits all.
Yeah.
We hope you found value in this conversation. We'll hope to continue bring you, value, things that will help you keep building, help you keep protecting what it is you're working for, and something that will ensure that whatever it is you've gathered, you're able to transfer it legitimately and morally to the next generation. And on this note, we call it a wrap. Until when we come your way next time, it's a beautiful day. I hope you will enjoy your 6/6/2026 in good health and definitely in sound mind. Have a
Amen.
good one, everyone. Thank you so much, Debola and Debola, once again. It's
Oh, you're
wonderful
welcome.
having both of you.
Yes, it was.
Until when next we come your way, it's the Wealth Bridge podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and don't make us your secret, okay? Share us to those, share our
Share.
podcast to those, who probably need this information. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Take care. God bless. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care.